Happy trails to you until we meet again. Happy trails to you. Keep smiling until then. Who cares about the clouds if we're together? Just sing a song and bring the sunny weather. Happy trails to you.
Stamp is to mark with a distinctive character. Like we have rubber stamps, which make a mark with ink. But these aren't really distinct marks. I mean, rubber stamps are mass-produced, institutional, the point being that the mark is easily reproducible. Fingerprints are kind of like rubber stamps, and they're very distinct. Each one is unique, right? Kind of like an identity. But what about branding? There's something very permanent about it. Maybe stamp is an imposed identity. But rubber stamps are just a variation on the old practice of stamping paper with an engraved plate to create an embossed marker design. And that's the kind of stamp the British were using to mark things like legal documents, newspapers, and playing cards. And the Stamp Act of 1765 said that the American colonists had to buy these specially marked papers. So this makes the colonists real mad, right? And they make this big fuss called the Revolutionary War. So maybe we owe our independence to stamps. Maybe we'd all be working on tea plantations and the redcoats run everything and the whole world is the British Empire. Okay. So now instead of impressing designs or lettering onto the paper, we use these adhesive stamps. And you have to buy them and they raise all the money so that the postal service can run smoothly. And when you send a letter to your girlfriend for her birthday, she gets it on time. And then some people collect these stamps. And they can be beautiful or educational, like teach geography or history. Or you can just buy and sell them like any collector's item. So the first adhesive stamp is the penny black, and England makes it in 1840. And I bet you can sell it for a whole lot. Well, I actually looked it up, and if it's used, you can sell it for $200. And if it's not used, you can sell it for like $3,000. Right, so these things are all stamps because you bring some object down forcefully onto a surface, and that surface is changed by it. Except maybe adhesive stamps don't fit that description, but I think those are only called stamps because they're derived from the impressed mark stamps. Okay, so the action is also called stamping. Like, say if I stamp a piece of paper, what I've done is stamp the paper, and the mark I leave is also called a stamp, so that's kind of weird. And a stamp originally means to beat to a pulp or powder, or to pound, like in a mortar. You can see how that might have developed into bringing your foot down forcibly on the ground. Like, I don't know, a fussing child or a stern adult. An animal stamp too, like those images of an angry bull. Or what about a stampede? Kind of like a wild succession of stamps, or an angry march. Then from there you get the phrase to stamp out, which is like to eliminate. To stamp out a fire, to stamp out a rebellion. So now we've got stamps starting revolutions and ending them too. And then the act of stamping is ending lives as well. Like, think of all the insects and little critters beaten to a pulp as feet are brought forcibly to the ground. And this stamp doesn't leave ink or an embossed design. It leaves death in a crushed little body. But for some reason we don't call this mark a stamp, even though it's just as permanent.